Hello. First of all, I want to thank everyone who commented on my previous video where I was asking for your thoughts on Patreon. I have taken on board pretty much everything that you've said and applied that to the way I have set up my Patreon. So I'm going to tell you what I've done and how it works and stuff like that, and then I'm also going to tell you some new stuff that I'm going to do with the channel which actually came out of that conversation. I will explain shortly. So, my Patreon. Tiers, there are no tiers. There is no you pledge this much, you get these things, you pledge this much, you get these other things, and none of that whatsoever. There is one tier. $2 is the, if I understand it correctly, you can pledge $2 a month or more if you choose, if I understand it correctly, and that's all just the same tier. If I don't understand it correctly, then it's just $2 and that's it. Perks, there are no perks. There are no patrons will get more stuff than non-patrons. I think that would cause resentment. Other people have said it's not necessary. Use it like a tips jar for people who you know, their thinking is, we appreciate what you've done here, maybe this will help. And that's how I'm going to set it up and treat it. Basically, there will be a credits roll at the end of every video for everyone who is a patron. Their name will appear in the credits at the end for as long as they are a patron. At the end of every video, every new video. Obviously I can't put it on the end of all of my previous videos, but you get that. And that will be it, and obviously my gratitude. So the way I'm going to treat it is, I am absolutely not asking anyone for money. There's going to be no, please subscribe to my Patreon, none of that. I'm not doing that. It is there purely for people who specifically want to become patrons. I mean, it will help me purchase things to review. My plan is to buy, assuming anyone decides they want anything to do with any of this, things like EverDrive cartridges, SD card storage solutions for games, consoles and computers, because then I can just cover more games more conveniently, more quickly. It's all about speed. I've got lots of computers with tapes, and that takes time, and time is a commodity that I have more of than I did, but still I don't have time for tape loading. So it would be things like that that would be top of my list, if you like. But here's the thing, I have no expectations. There is obviously no obligation. As I said, I'm not asking anyone. I have no expectation. Do I even think I deserve? No, not at all. I do this for fun. I just take the view that if people wanted to help, I could make, you know, I could put money to practical use that would improve the channel, but it's an awkward thing. Yeah, but I have no expectation. There is no pressure, no obligation, no suggestion that you should. I hate that word, should. No, none of that. So that is where we're at with that. I will tell you this, I want to say I will never mention it again. It might not be true, so I can't say that, but you know, the link to my Patreon page is down there, unless YouTube do their thing and change where links appear, but you know, it's in the information section, there's a link there. Any references to Patreon in my videos later will always be at the end. I'm not going to plaster it in your face at the start of every video, because I know that's just annoying, and I'm not going to do that. I want it to be inobtrusive. that's that. Yeah. It's a thing. I feel kind of awkward about it, and there would be those who'd say, well, why are you doing it then? The simple reason being, I can see practical purposes for doing it that might not ruin the channel, I hope. Now, another thing that came out of the conversation, discussion, call it what you will, from my last video, and it was discussing perks, and it was suggested, well, how about if patrons, or second tier, or whatever tier, get to ask a question, and you answer it, I don't know, in either dedicated Q&As or at the end of each video or whatever. And I thought, that's actually a really good idea. And then I thought, sod that for doing it only for patrons. I want to do that for everybody. My thinking is, mostly I'm just doing gameplay videos now. They, in terms of viewer figures, are not especially popular. People want the Friday talkie, or just me talking to the camera. And largely I don't have an awful lot to say. I'm not really up to date or in touch with the gaming scene or the retro gaming scene or the whole studying thing. I lost touch with pretty much all of this and this. You can't see, I'm pointing at things. I lost touch with it all. And my only experience of gaming and retro gaming was while I was retro gaming, and whatever else was happening in the world or on the gaming scene, no idea. I don't know. So I couldn't really talk about it. Q&As, on the other hand, are an easy thing to do. But then there's something that if you do a big long Q&A and answer everyone's questions, you can do one of those every so often, but if you do it every week, it just gets old. However, this is what I have, I won't say concluded, I want to trial it. I want to change the format of this channel's main output, if you like, what I'm uploading, into what I'm going to call a double header format. You will get the gameplay video, and then when that's finished, you will get a Q&A, one question. I will answer one question from you lot. Basically, if you have a question, ask it in the comments below or on any other video that follows. Start your question with for Q&A or for video response or something like that, just so that I know you're not asking me to answer it in the comments there. You want me to answer it in the second part of a double-header video after a gameplay. What kind of questions can you ask, or more importantly, what kind of questions can't you ask? I guess I reserve the right to not answer anything that I just don't like. You know, there are some things that are just plain inappropriate, and there are some things that are just none of your business, and I won't answer those. I won't even say, I'm not answering that, I just won't answer it. I'm going to have to keep track of all the questions, because if I'm doing one at a time, one per video and one like every couple of days or something, I'm going to have to list them all. And I expect to put up a page on my website that I'll probably link to in every video with previously asked and answered questions, so that, I mean, it's going to happen, people are going to ask questions that I've already answered, but I'll just be able to direct them to either that page or the video with the answer on it, something like that. But questions to ask and not ask. Okay, I'm not going to answer technical questions like, I've got all these consoles and computers and things, but I'm not an expert on any of it. I'm a collector and a gamer. I don't know how it works. So if you're asking me technical stuff, I'm not going to know the answer to that. So, you know, if I've got to Google it, I am not going to answer it. You know, you could Google it as easily as I could. Yeah, if it's not something I know the answer to, it's not going to make a good video for me reading out the question and then saying, actually I don't know. And that's the end of that. I'm not going to do that. So, you know, questions like that I might actually leave a text response saying, sorry, I don't know that. But my opinion on things, or my recollections of things, my experiences of things, gaming related, YouTube related, I mean, getting into current affairs would be kind of off topic. I am a very, very politically minded person, but it wouldn't be good to get into that on here. Not entirely appropriate. It's hard. I struggle. I force myself not to, because I could rant and rage and rave and all sorts on things that are happening in the world at the moment. But if I was going to do that, I'd do it on my other channel anyway. But that channel's kind of, it's on hiatus at the moment. Anyway, straying from the point. Yeah, so that is that. I will, videos are going to be double headers, gameplay followed by Q&A, answering one question, and of course the benefit of that is I will name whoever it is who's asked a question. You will see your name up there on this screen, and if you've got a channel with content, I will very likely mention that this person's got content. I'm not going to be doing shout outs in terms of naming you will not be seen as what's the word I'm looking for? Can't think of it. There's a word and I can't remember it. Doesn't mean I think your content's great, doesn't mean I think it's not, just means this person's got content. That. Yeah, but that could be a good thing. Or not. Whatever. Rambling now. That's what that's going to be, and then that will be followed by a credits list, a thank you to patrons, if there are any. Yeah, I don't know how that will go. I have no idea. It's going to be interesting to find out. It might all end in tears, and I might, you know, if there's a backlash, if people don't like it, if views slump, if whatever, you know, it's a work in progress. I'm tweaking it, or will tweak it, and try and find out what works. And by that I mean what works for me, but also what works for you, because if it doesn't work for you, then it won't work for me. Yeah. That's pretty much that, really. So, link to Patreon page below if you want it. And questions. Ask me questions and I will answer them in the new double header format videos, which I am planning to put up every other day. Every day would be nice, but I don't know that I'll get the time for that. We'll see. Yeah, and we'll see how it goes. And in the meantime, thank you for watching.
Yes, Your Majesty, it would be... What the bloody hell? Okay, which smart-ass rigged the subscribe button to the teleporter?